To make your audible for the Blitz.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's the Afternoon Blitz. Here are your hosts, Captain Cool and the Bandi Man.
Hello and welcome in, everybody. Your boy's not ready yet. We got a lot of running around going on here in no man's land, but that's all good. I'm Captain Cool. Don't play the sound, okay? It is too jumbled right now, okay? Let me figure out everything that's going down. But welcome in, everybody, to a TCU Tuesday. That's right. Why? Why is it a TCU Tuesday? Because this is the last time you're going to hear about them, and this is the last time they're going to be relevant, because whatever happened last night has to just... we have to remember this, okay? This is why you don't put a Big 12 team in the national championship, okay? It needs to be either SEC against SEC until we get the 12-team champion or 12-team playoff going. But that's besides the point, okay? But I am your host. You can play the song now, the Captain Cool.
Oh my goodness, it's
Captain Cool. Someone lose a grenade. Oh yeah. Welcome to the Afternoon Blitz on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Radio Network. You can find us online at theblitzsportsradio.com, on Facebook at The Blitz Sports Radio, and on Twitter at @TheBlitz_sports. And while you're at it, go and follow us on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV for more than just sports talk. I have no idea what's going on. The Tom literally just left the studio. I just sat down. I'm just getting comfortable. My headphones, I'm not even wearing the right headphones that I wanted to wear, but either way, thank you, Chad, for dropping them off in here, because I at least can hear the audio that is going down. But guys, we have a wide show today. There's so much to get into about the national championship, about the playoffs, about the coaches that are losing their jobs left and right in both college and in the NFL. And it's all going to be great to get into. But 256-576-4977 is the number to hop in when we're not doing an interview, because that is right, we will have Deshaun Tate on with us at 2:30 to talk NBA stuff. So that's going to be super fun. And this hour is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you have any roofing problems, look them up online and fill out your free quote today. Remember, Fleming always shows up. You're live hanging with the chillest crew of 2 in Sports Radio behind the booth, doing the tracks, talking smacks. The one, the only Bandi Man, Bailey Lowry.
I mean, yeah, I could definitely talk smacks, because what in the world was that national championship game last night?
Let me tell you, Bandi, I gotta say that, look, okay, all of America had a little bit of hope, all right? We saw ESPN did that little poll, college football, they were like, okay, who do you think's gonna win? And we even did one on the Blitz Sports Radio, Twitter, and, everybody could have voted on it. I even voted on it. Who did I want to win? TCU. Okay. I personally wanted to see that. It's not who I thought would have won, because there was no chance in God's green earth that TCU was going to win that game. And let me tell you, I think what Georgia did to them is exactly what needed to happen to open people's eyes to, okay, maybe the SEC and this Georgia team is a little bit more dominant than one little horned frog that comes into LA and says, hey, we can compete too, because they definitely did not compete, Bandi.
No, I mean, because look, we can give them like the benefit of the doubt, because going into it, we did believe they did beat Michigan.
Woo!
We thought they were going to have like a little bit of a shot. We thought that they were going to give them like a challenge for at least a quarter, maybe two.
Yeah.
Georgia sent a message last night,
right off the bat,
saying if you can't hang with us, and by proxy you can't hang with the SEC, we don't want to play you. Get out of here.
Yeah,
it's not worth our time.
It was literally the SEC's championship to lose. It was not going to happen, okay? Whenever we saw Ohio State come in and lose to Georgia, very thin, okay? It was a very thin margin, all right?
Yeah.
It was all thanks to that field goal that went wide left, okay? That was the national championship right there, because as soon as that game came to an end, whenever New Year's came to a beginning, the 2023 year, whenever that happened, Georgia already won it. TCU had no chance. Michigan would have had a better chance against Georgia if it had to come down to it. But either way, it was the most dominant performance by a football team, by any sports team in a championship event. Best team in the nation. Have you seen the projected polls for next year already?
Well, I've seen ESPN's like way too early top 25, which they always put out. Which, by the way, having Florida State over Alabama, I don't really. Alabama's at number 5, but having Florida State over Alabama, come on.
It's a very early pick, but TCU's way back in like 15, 16 area. That's where they belonged. Okay, by the end of the season. All right, Tennessee would have beaten TCU. Alabama would have destroyed TCU. Ohio State would have destroyed TCU. Michigan didn't.
Yeah, Michigan didn't.
If they got a second chance, possibly, okay? Let me tell you, as soon as TCU took the field, and I know we've been talking about this, people have been talking about this, you've heard this 1,000 times, that's going to be today's story, okay? Because yesterday was Monday. We've talked about why having this whole thing on a Monday, and then it's going to go on throughout the week, but hopefully it'll die down sooner than later. As soon as TCU took the field, oh my gosh, I'll get into more of it. I'll get into more of it a little bit later, okay? But we do have Deshaun Tate coming on at 2:30 to talk a little bit of NBA stuff, and that'll be super interesting because there's a lot of NBA basketball to talk about. Because, you know what? There was a whole football game that kind of overshadowed everything else that was going on yesterday and going into tonight. We got a lot more basketball to come. But, Bandi, to start off the show, you know what time it is. That's right.
Time for another question.
It's time for another question. When are you going to get sick of this? We got to have a little jingle that gets you a little bit more pumped up for this. But here it is, Bandi, okay? If you could add one thing to the studio or office, what would it be?
If I could add one thing to the studio or office.
Yeah.
A Coke Freestyle machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of those like soda vending machines. Like if cost wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those vending machines for sure.
That's got like every single like type of soda in it.
Yep.
The ones you can just rearrange.
You ever been in like Firehouse? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, like those. Yeah, those kind of.
They had them at UAH.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember whenever.
Yeah, they did have them at UAH.
Yeah, they did. They were always out though. But whenever like back in the day, whenever they first started coming up, those things were like. People hated them because everything tasted the same. They were like, oh, it tastes like Coke, but it also tastes like everything else that is in there. It tastes like Mountain Dew, but it tastes like it has, the Coke and all that stuff. It's all just carbonated, flavored stuff. But nowadays, they've gotten a lot better at it. It's a bunch of different little packets that are stuck in those things. So very interesting. I am surprised you didn't go with this. I would go with an arcade cabinet.
An arcade cabinet?
Yeah, 4 players specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Golden Tee. I think Golden Tee would be pretty fun.
Okay, yeah, no, I would not get any work done here if a Golden Tee cabinet was here.
Well, let's just say, like, whenever you're taking a break after doing a few calls, you go over, play some Golden Tee, go back in, do some more calls.
Go over, play some Golden Tee, get incredibly mad, and then come back over here.
Exactly, and then when you're done with getting incredibly mad with doing work, you just go straight back. But either way, Bandi, let's get into the show. Today is January 10th, 2023, and here's what you need to know in the Blitz today. First off, the Georgia Bulldogs have won their second national championship in a row after giving us the biggest highlight reel on primetime television since Americans' funniest home videos, okay? The Horned Frogs looked as if they were playing like they were sleeping, literally. Okay, you know how when you have a dream and you're playing an activity, you're doing you're doing football, you're doing baseball, you're doing anything sports related in a dream, you feel sloppy. Okay, you feel like you can't throw the ball because it weighs 1,000 pounds.
True.
You slip and fall every single time you try and run, and that's if you can even run fast. Because usually you're not able to run fast. And I feel like you're just always like really, really sweaty and slippery because I feel like you're having a really intense dream, That is what TCU played like last night, okay? Anytime they got a hold of the ball, anytime Max Duggan tried to do anything with the ball, man slipped up, fell, looked just terrible. The team looked horrible, and it was just a bad game, okay? Which we can talk more about it later, but I don't want to talk about it as much at the beginning of this show. But, yeah, that's what we witnessed last night. Georgia, on the other hand, looked as if they were an NFL team playing a bunch of low-class college players and put up 589 total yards on the would-be defense. You're telling me
you're
TCU
saying
had a chance at this game.
You're saying they had a defense?
It didn't look like it, Bandi. The way they were running, the way they were passing, these guys didn't know how to keep up with this team.
I mean, now to be fair, if you had heard Kirby Smart's pregame speech before that game, like anyone would have been fired up.
We should have cut it up, bleeped out everything about it.
We could not have bleeped that up. That would have been
Yeah.
we could not have bleeped that entire thing.
It would literally be beep, 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 beep. I'm gonna tell you the beep.
It would have been unlistenable, but what Kirby Smart said to his players before that game absolutely would have inspired anybody.
Yeah, it would have had me listening to Travis Scott, and then I would have taken off my headphones because Kirby Smart was talking. Okay, I would be done getting hyped up with anything else. I'd be Kirby Smart's talking, guys. Be quiet. And then I'd be listening to what he said. Man cusses like a sailor. I'll say that though. But either way, I mean that's just how you got to be sometimes if you're a coach and you want to really just get your players ready. Maybe overkill. I think so. Okay, a little overkill, but. If you thought that TCU had a chance in this game, you must have been dreaming alongside the Horned Frogs, okay?
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it to Kirby, too. Like, he did not hold back during that game whatsoever.
No.
I mean, did you see the play where I think it was like 4th and 3 or like 4th and 5?
Yeah.
Still went for it up 45 in the game, and it's just, all right, Kirby.
It's a statement.
Yeah. I mean, I respect it. Send a statement saying you need to bring higher caliber teams into this playoff, which I think with the 12-team playoff now being a thing,
oh yeah,
that's going to eliminate any possibility of that happening again.
Yeah, I don't think a TCU or any other team like TCU is going to find the national championship without being legit.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's like you can accidentally stumble into the college football national championship, and I don't want to say that. Okay, there's usually good teams coming in. There's usually Alabama, Georgia, a good Clemson team. There's usually that. Ohio State even. They stumble in. They're doing good. Those are the good teams. Some of them can fall off, but if you let teams like TCU come in and they get a freak win against a team like Michigan that wouldn't have stood a chance against Georgia either, the only team that stood a chance here was Ohio State or Alabama. Alabama didn't even get to play this team all season long.
Yeah.
And that is a travesty. Travesty. Either way, we're moving on because we got something else to be upset about. If you ever wanted more of a reason to hate the MILF hunter himself, Zach Wilson, listen to this. Okay?
Oh, what did he do?
And I'm sure you won't care for him even more than before, okay? Nobody really cared for him in the first place, all right? He's not a good quarterback, okay? This is in relation to the Jets possibly signing a veteran QB moving into the 2023 season, okay? He said this. He didn't do anything. He just said, quote, I'm going to make that dude's life, in practice, a living hell. Every single day. He's just like on it. He's like, I'm going to make that dude's life hell, in practice, every day.
Oh, my God.
Via SNY. I understand, being confident, being good, if you are a proven player already in the NFL, in the NBA, in soccer, I don't know. But Wilson has done nothing but throw 18 interceptions and go 8-14 in his 2 years as a Jet.
That's kind of crazy. It's already been 2 years with Zach Wilson.
And he still acts like a high schooler. Man probably has, I'm not even going to go there. Okay. You could say that, that he's young, but he's going into his 3rd year in the league now. And it's time to grow up, okay? Or you'll be seeing as much playing time as Johnny Manziel. Yeah. Another star number 2.
And it sucks, too, because coaching is really a two-way street.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the program and the trainers over there trying to help him and develop him and help make him better. But it seems like he's just not taking that advice.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, he's got nothing to be cocky about except for probably his black book that holds a bunch of women's names that are over the age of 40, probably. That's a stretch, okay? But to add on, okay, to the Black Monday fun that kind of seeped into today, the Titans fire offensive coordinator Todd Downing, offensive line coach Keith Carter, and 2 other assistant coaches. This is something I definitely want to go into with Joe Hunk on Friday. Possibly get into with RJ White from Sportsline.com Wednesday. We got to know, what are the Titans going to do moving forward? Because right now, Coach Vrabel's got a large task ahead of him. Okay? The man's got to figure it out. He's going to have to figure it out going into next season. You can say, hey, the Titans have been really good. They've been really good on offense. No, not really. They've been good in the run game because they've got a Derrick Henry at the helm. But, I mean, Ryan Tannehill's not going to do too much for you. The offensive core is nearly non-existent when it comes to the wide receivers in the line. They don't exist. So that's why Keith Carter's gone. And then 2 other assistant coaches that I'm not even going to name because they probably don't matter. Either way, they're going to fill that up. And guys, if you're Baltimore Ravens fans, rejoice. Rejoice, because your team has finally paid the man that will lead your team to the Super Bowl. Bandi, you hear me? If you're a Ravens fan, you better rejoice. That's right. You have extended linebacker Roquan Smith's contract.
I mean, great for how much?
5 years, $100 million. $60 million guaranteed. Sorry, guys.
How does Lamar Jackson feel about that?
Lamar's like, come on. He's like this.
It's like that money should be going to me.
What are you doing? I am so sorry if you're a Ravens fan. Not really, because if you're a Ravens fan, you don't know what you're doing. Okay?
You know, it just finally hit me like literally a week ago. I did not know they were called the Ravens because of Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't know that. I thought Edgar Allan Poe was from like England or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was from Baltimore.
It's just how it is, dude. It's cool. It's interesting to think about. But I got to say, like, the whole franchise, you know, they know what they're doing. I think if I wasn't a Browns fan, I think their logo's cool. I think their color scheme's cool. Put it all together, and it makes me want to throw up. Plus, if you've ever seen a Raven in real life.
Oh, they're gross.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, gross bird. But they're not even, they don't, like, you'd think, oh, a Raven is, you know, black, and it's got a little shade or shimmer of purple to it. It's got blue. It's more blue than purple, so.
Yeah. And even then, Ravens always bring, like, bad omens and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and disease.
Yeah, you don't want Ravens around.
Yeah. But, hey, it goes with Edgar Allan Poe's thing. But this contract's going to make Roquan Smith the highest paid linebacker, okay, in all of history. $100 million. $100 million.
Million.
It's crazy stuff. Figure it out, Baltimore. You got to figure it out. The only guy that will lead you to a Super Bowl is Lamar Jackson. Okay? But moving forward, it does not look good. Man's going to be a New York Jet by the end of 3 weeks. Possibly.
You're calling it?
I might call it. There's a few teams that need him, and they will pay him, okay, to be the quarterback. If the Jets get him, you know what Zach Wilson's going to do? He ain't going to make anybody's life a living hell. Zach Wilson's going to have to request a trade.
Okay, wait. I was actually confused about that quote. I thought, when I first initially heard it, I thought it was a coach telling him he's going to make Zach Wilson's life a living hell,
No.
like in practice.
No.
Which would make a lot of sense to me because he needs that.
No.
He was telling another player that?
He was talking to, what is it? It was SNY. He was saying, if they bring in a veteran quarterback, I'm going to make that guy's life a living hell.
They already have Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco's probably not going to be there next year. If he is, who cares? But if they bring in another one, he wants to make sure that he is the starter. It's the confidence. It's the Michael Jordan confidence. The thing is, he's not Michael Jordan. He's not anything close to Michael Jordan.
I mean, I like the idea that he's confident, but what is he confident in?
I don't know. He hasn't done anything for this team.
He's confident in his ability to suck?
Nice one. High five.
But for real, though, like, he hasn't done anything. He doesn't have
No.
a winning record. He's thrown
No.
more interceptions than touchdowns. What is he confident in?
Yeah, he's thrown more interceptions than wins.
Does he
I don't
have
know.
more interceptions than Russell Wilson has bathrooms?
Well, he's got 18 interceptions in his career.
Which is true. Russell Wilson has 13 bathrooms.
Jeez, that's so many bathrooms.
I found out because that was actually a chart that was going on throughout the season of
Yeah.
the Broncos fan base. When is Russell Wilson finally going to have more touchdowns than bathrooms?
You know why he's got all those bathrooms?
Why is that?
Because all the Subway he's been eating.
Mm-hmm. Those danger witches.
The spicy ones. They're not spicy, I'll tell you that, guys. But
The danger witch with spinach on it.
you're going to look like Popeye by the end of it. Either way. And then Buckhorn is going to be facing off against Lee High School tonight on our sister station, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And they're going to look to win their second straight and advance to 14-6 on the season. And this will be a regional game, so make sure you guys tune in to support the Bucks as me and the Bandi Man will be on the call. That's all going down at 7 tonight live from Buckhorn. And then, Bandi, what are we going to be delving into with the video game world?
Well, we actually got a good bit of news. I mean, Xbox turns out is going to be, they announced we're going to be holding like a Nintendo Direct-like event. This is the first time I've ever really done this.
Oh.
On January 25th, that's going to be showing off a lot of first-party titles, and we actually got some interesting trailer drops today for upcoming projects that I'm very excited to talk about, including the return of an old franchise.
Sweet. I can't wait for all of that fun stuff. And, because it's Xbox, I got Xbox. You got not Xbox, but you got Game Pass.
I've got PC.
So that also is cool.
I've got Microsoft.
Exactly. So it's going to be big stuff for us. And then later on, during the cool segment of the show, we'll take a deeper look into the playoff picture, talk about who we think is going to make the craziest impact on that. And we'll also talk about the insane stuff that happened last night in the TCU-Georgia matchup that you may not have been thinking about because you probably tuned off after the fourth touchdown that was scored by Georgia. But hey, it was the over. It did hit the over.
Yeah, they hit the over by themselves.
I thought of that. I was like, geez, it is 38-7 going into halftime. And I was thinking, Georgia's going to hit the over. TCU's going to look like idiots if they don't score any more. And that's exactly what happened. But don't go anywhere, guys, because when we come back, we're talking some NBA fun with Deshaun Tate from Tate's Talks. That's all coming up here on the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today. Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
I'm business analyst Jill Schlesinger with a small business success story sponsored by the U.S. Postal Service. Stitch Fix offers clothing and accessories for women on the go, selected by personal stylists and delivered right to your door. Chief Operating Officer Julie Bornstein says, our entire business is centered on making shopping more convenient, so it was vital to select a shipping provider that could provide that level of service. Julie knows that when you rely on the U.S. Postal Service, your business becomes their business. The U.S. Postal Service, priority you.
Why should you trust in the U.S. Postal Service to deliver for your business? Because when you ship with us, your business becomes our business. Whether you have 3 employees or 300, you'll have a nationwide fleet of delivery trucks working for you. We make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country. See what we can do for you at USPS.com/forbusiness. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
The Blitz has been called.
Hello and welcome back in, everybody. First hour here in the afternoon Blitz on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, Cap Cool, alongside the Bandi Band, Bailey Lowry.
Yep.
We've had a little bit of fun so far. We dissected TCU and dissected Georgia a little bit. We got a little bit to get into later on in the show about all of that stuff as we wait for Deshaun Tate to hop on with us to talk NBA. Fun stuff in the NBA, by the way, okay? Obviously, there's a big question whether or not Steph Curry is coming back tonight. That would be very fun to see. But at the same time, I don't know. There's a lot of things going on in basketball right now that have me questioning whether it's the same basketball we've been seeing for the last 4 or 5 years. Now, I'm not the basketball guy. I will say that, okay? I'm not a huge basketball dude. I know Bandi is, okay? And I see him over there. He's like, dang, what's going on? What's going on? I don't know. What is going on? I'm not going to ask him, okay? But, I mean, we look at the performance that, a lot of these teams are going on, and it's different from usual, okay? Obviously, the Lakers started off this season doing terrible. They're still not doing the best, but they have kind of rebounded it in a way, okay? Westbrook has been keeping this team afloat, and they're sitting at 19 and 22. Okay, this is not what they expected from the Lakers, all right, as they lost to the Nuggets last night, 122 to 109, okay? There's things you can't change about this. Things you can't change about this league, as much as we'd want. But that's why we got college basketball to also keep us afloat. But then, looking back at other teams, it's just all over the place. I'll wait for Deshaun Tate and Bandi to do all the rest of the heavy lifting because, again, it's not what I'm a part of. But this hour is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you have any roofing problems, you can look them up online and fill out your free quote today. Remember, Fleming always shows up. And they do a great job of doing it because if your house is looking like it's about to fall apart, mainly your roof, these guys will put it together in the nick of time, and they will make you show up in the neighborhood. But now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, a guy who does a wonderful job talking basketball, NBA basketball specifically, at least for what we like to talk about. That is one Mr. Deshaun Tate from Tate's Talks. Deshaun, how you doing today?
Outstanding. Thanks so much for asking. And listen, now that we got all that, I like to call it that football stuff. Now that we're halfway home to getting all that football stuff out of the way,
close
on the collegiate side, now we just got to do our part. I guess over the next 30 days or so, I think playoffs coming up starting this weekend in the NFL. Once we get all the non-important stuff out of the way, we can start kind of focusing in on March Madness and the NBA. So, of course, I'm all smiles. Shocker.
Oh, yeah, which I can't wait for March Madness. That's one of my favorite times of the year. But just kind of out of curiosity, did you check out any of the national championship last night?
There was a national championship game played last night?
Looked like a scrimmage.
Oh, I mean, you could call it that technically. A little more.
Dude, you can do the what do you call it here in the South? Like, I know basketball is more little league or bitty basketball. What do you call it here? Is that called
Pop Warner?
I can't think. Pop Warner. It might as well have been a Pop Warner team out there, and and this isn't going to do anything but for the crazy people that are always going to say, "Wow, this team in college, football is so dominant." We hear this every so often. This team A in college football has been so dominant, and they could probably beat whoever, insert the worst NFL team here, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But Georgia looked good last night, back-to-back champs. I'm right here in Atlanta, so people are going crazy about it. Everybody's really excited, but this is just another reason that everybody's going to start screaming about 12-team playoffs and such.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, which kind of speaking of Atlanta, that's where I was looking to start today because one of the big headlines in the news right now is that it looks like the Hawks might be looking to give John Collins away in a trade package, and they're looking for something along the lines of a Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell-like package for that John Collins trade. I mean, do you think that John Collins really is that kind of a player to warrant that kind of trade package, or do you think the Hawks might be able to get it?
I honestly, number one, I don't know if Rudy Gobert is the ideal candidate or ideal person for something like the Atlanta Hawks. I'm afraid of what to the imagination. I'm afraid of what it looks like offensively when you have a Rudy Gobert on one side and then a Clint Capella on the other side, for crying out loud. I know John is probably really tired. I think I've heard some reports, kind of rumblings, if you will, over the course of the last 24 hours about him being asked about it. He's like, can we just stop talking about me being traded already? He's kind of over it, I think. Who wouldn't be? But John Collins is one of those guys that while I don't think that he necessarily has the most ideal skill set, especially in this type of league where you do have, stretch fours and everything else, he's definitely developed that jump shot a little bit more. And I know we talked, last couple of years about him, really needing to fine-tune or find some drastic improvement within his ball handling and within his perimeter defense, because these days you got to go out there and play some of that, even at 6'9", and even some of the rim protection you don't really get. A lot of the stuff is predicated when it comes to John based off of him being the recipient on the other end of alley-oops and lobs and things of that nature. Credit to Trae Young, but credit to him for following through with those. I like John. I like John a lot, especially as a person. But I don't think that John is necessarily the only getting rid of John would be the only answer to some of the problems that we've been seeing with the Atlanta Hawks as of late.
Yeah, so if ideally like John Collins wouldn't be a part of that package, it's like who would you want to see Atlanta maybe like try to shift around and maybe try to replace to really improve that lineup a little bit and see really where this offense could go?
Go get some adults. That's what I say. Go get some guys with some edge. Go get some guys with. I know that there's only so many, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, some of those guys, PJ Tuckers and Marcus Smart, some of those guys that exist in this league. But they need some guys that's going to provide some vocal leadership in that locker room, that has some experience beyond just maybe, one run at a Eastern or Western Conference, appearance. And even more so, just somebody that can, there's no reason for why you have guys, just specifically as an example, like Trae Young being nose to nose with whomever else on the opposing team in each other's faces without someone stepping in and saying, no, we're not doing that today. Not my point guard. You want him, you got to go through me. I'm talking about those guys. Right now they got college students, as it appears to me. Guys with a little bit of responsibilities. When you're a college student, you got to pay your little phone bill money and whatever else, little gas money here and there. They need guys with big boy responsibilities that I've been through the trenches a little bit, been through some things. Not knucklehead guys, but some guys that done been through some things off the floor a little bit, different kind of upbringings and so forth. I think that's more so the type of player, not really one per se that I have in mind. If I was to say one for someone that seems like he's available, if not, I don't know what the hell they're doing, that player will probably be Jay Crowder.
Oh yeah, no, Jay Crowder just always seems to be one of those players. I was so sad when he left Utah and got traded to Boston. But I again, that's a perfect description of someone who just you slot him into your lineup. He immediately takes that leadership kind of role, and again,
sure,
provides a little bit of and provides edge to the team.
Yeah, the DN3 guy, the ideal. He's going to be able to provide you with some offense. You're not going to be sacrificing your offense because he's so good defensively. You're not going to be sacrificing your defense because he's so good offensively. He provides you a really nice balance, some rebounding, some experience. He's from Villa Rica, so he's from a little small town here in Georgia already as is. And he comes from a winning pedigree. Maybe not necessarily a guy that has won a championship per se, but I get it. One thing that you can always use on any team when it comes to this league is you can always use a winner. That's the reason why I don't get as hung up on when people, talk bad on Draymond Green's behalf, or when you get guys that talk bad on Patrick Beverley's behalf, because while you may not necessarily like them, love them, hate them, or anything in between, number one, I got a really good feeling you like having them on your team because of the way that they can frustrate the opposition. But even more so, there's one thing that I don't question with those type of players, and that's their will to win. I think everybody can use one of those, and the Atlanta Hawks, I think, need one of those a little desperately.
Good stuff by Deshaun Tate from Tate's Talks, talking all the NBA action and kind of moving over to California. I want to look at these Warriors, all right? They're desperately in need of Steph Curry to come back and kind of just give them some hope. Right now they're sitting at 20-20. Not bad, all right, but they did just lose against the Magic the other night, and it's not really looking good. It's a weird season they're having so far, kind of similar to what the Lakers are on right now. And just kind of tell me a little bit more about what this team really needs to do to get back on track to look like that championship caliber team.
Well, Golden State is going to be Golden State. If there's not one team that you're definitely going to make sure you don't make the mistake of looking past, especially as we get down to the nuts and bolts or meat and potatoes of the season, which is the postseason, that's going to be the team. I think it's okay for me to speak for the consensus of people that said after what they did last year, they're probably going to be back-to-back, and not even just because they were the most recent team to win it, but also because of the nucleus that they have in returning this year. Obviously, you don't have that Steph Curry, and they're going to win some games. They're going to lose some games. They're going to lose to some guys that, they probably shouldn't lose to. I feel like that happens once or twice for a little bit of everybody. By the way, I see every Orlando Magic game, and they look pretty darn good. They're just very, very young and inexperienced. But with that being said, nobody's questioning Golden State when it comes to the way that they, draft their players. You also don't have a Jonathan Kuminga. I think he's just starting to work his way back. Still trying to figure out, answer the questions or find a solution for the James Wiseman situation. But when you've got guys like Poole, who's a plug-and-play type of guy, and obviously Clay, who's kind of showing people don't write me off just yet. Draymond is a Swiss Army knife with one of the highest IQs in the league. They got some other pieces there that you just can't look past. And they've got a system there. And that's one of the reasons why they're so successful, and they're going to continue to be that. I think on tonight, what do they have? I think they have Phoenix. Phoenix has a ton of guys out. As we slowly get closer and closer to, the part of the season that matters the most, I think that's when you will see Golden State look similar to the way the last time we saw them and was so enamored with how they were adding a number to the left side of the result column.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of that, they're also playing the Suns at home tonight, which I got no worries if the Warriors are playing at home because they're sitting at 17-4 at home, but 3-16 on the road. What do you see with this team that just dynamically changes when they're playing away versus when they're playing at home in Oakland?
I don't know. I mean, you're talking about giving up a lot of points. I think that's obvious. There is a difference there. I don't want to be the guy to come on your program right now and start throwing out really fancy stuff that just sounds good. I don't believe in playing radio. That's just not the way that Deshaun Tate works. I don't know. That's not my job to figure it out, but I know you're looking for an answer. But to be honest with you, it's an answer that, just to be transparent for disclosure, that I don't have. But that is Steve Kerr's job to figure that out. I think that it will get figured out sooner than later at some point. Just got to really work on, in my opinion, the way that they've got to figure some things out on the defensive side of the ball. And everything is going to start there. That's how you won your championship, for crying out loud. Championships, that is. And I mean, they've got really coachable guys that are going to buy into the system. You got to remember, Golden State is not just one of these other teams. They've got the big target on their back that everybody, if you don't have nobody else circled on your calendar or highlighted, they're going to be the team that you do. So they're going to get everybody's best shot. And I know that they probably have that every single year, but, don't write off a team just because they don't have a player or two. Remember, this was the same conversation we were having similar last year where Draymond Green missed some very critical games leading into the postseason. Klay Thompson was just coming off the injury, still not 100%. And then you had, someone like a Stephen Curry who broke the all-time three-point record, but shortly after that, he kind of went into a shooting slump, if you will, and there was some concerns about that. Then they turned around and do what they did. So I don't have nearly as many concerns as other people do, whether it's at home or whether it's on the road, because at the end of the day, you've got to win basketball games, and I think they'll win enough of them to eventually get back at least to the playoffs, if not nothing else, and be a threat again.
Yeah, true. I mean, part of the reason I asked that question, too, is because I couldn't figure it out for myself watching just one game away, one game at home. I was like, maybe I can get a second opinion on this. Maybe
it's night and day, yeah, apples and oranges.
But Deshante with us from Tate's Take Hoops.
There you go.
It's a tongue twister. You got to be careful.
It is a tongue twister.
That 3 times fast.
And I already have hard enough time with talking as it is. But move
on.
on to.
Dude, try being a first-time dad 3 weeks in, dude. You're sleep deprived. You're talking to people on the air about basketball, and you don't even really remember what the hell you're talking about half the time.
The days all kind of just jumble together at that point.
That they do.
But moving on over to another game tonight. I mean, the Jazz are playing the Cavaliers tonight in Utah. I mean, Lauri Markkanen, I'm gonna be incredibly disappointed if he's not at least considered for an All-Star position. And Donovan Mitchell coming back into Utah. I mean, just your opinion on this matchup real quick and how you think it might play out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know it's going to be, really loud and rowdy and everything else. And if people don't care about nothing else in Salt Lake City, they care about their Utah Jazz. I learned that quite a few years ago, back in 2018, and that was just summer league games. So trust me, I overstand, not understand. I overstand it. And this is a Cleveland Cavaliers team that has been pretty hot and exceeding the expectations. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they're like, give me your teams out of the East that you feel the most confident in, making a run to the Eastern Conference. I'm sorry, to win the Eastern Conference Finals and go to the finals. And I think I got through about 2 or 3 teams, and it was really difficult for me to name a team before I mentioned the Cleveland Cavaliers after that. And that's just more so on the dark horse, from a dark horse perspective. But no, don't go running off to Vegas with any of that, and then come knocking on my door looking to collect your coins, because I don't think I'm going to be able to help you very much. I got diapers to pay for. But, Utah is, like you said, when you got guys like Lauri Markkanen, I mean, they just put together the ultimate, the ultimate team and just system. And obviously they've got a, really young coach and whatnot, and he's doing the best job that he can. But they've just got a lot of guys that are on their, on their, second leg, if you will, getting, being obviously very successful, but were at other teams before. And I think that's something that, everybody kind of having a chip on their shoulder, maybe kind of being overlooked to a degree. Lauri Markkanen was in another place, as was Jordan Clarkson. If he can, continue to, be the offensive threat that he has been as a sixth man, and even sometimes occasionally we see him in the starting lineup. Colin Sexton was in that conversation. Beasley, Kelly Olynyk, all these guys, Conley. Everybody seems like they came from elsewhere, and they're looking to make a name for themselves, a new home. Horton Tucker, all these guys. The offensive threat that they are, and being able to pair some of that defense to go along with it. I think they have a very good balance. You're talking about somebody like a Lauri Markkanen. I'll tell you what, I think that there's a guy on the collegiate side, and I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Markkanen and this, that, and the third, but he just kind of reminds me of some of that similarity of what you see in a Markkanen, or has developed his growth a little bit and improved. I'm not sure how much you guys follow the college gang. There's a guy over in Lawrence, Kansas, who I totally expect to be a lottery pick, higher side of the lottery, named Grady Dick. Sounds a little bit weird, but I didn't come up with the name. He has very much of some Lauri Markkanen in him. And Markkanen is kind of showing the elephant in the room for me with Markkanen and his success. Ultimately, has really been his aggression. Playing with the chip on his shoulder, being very aggressive, getting after it, not overthinking. Some of these guys, they have the talent and the skill set and the length and the athleticism, potential, and all these other fancy words that you typically hear on draft night. but they've got different issues in between the ears. It just kind of seems like he's just really much like John Collins has done over the course of the last 6 or 7 games. Just said, you know what, I'm just going to go out there and be me. I'm going to go out there and be me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to play my game. I'm not going to worry about what everybody's talking about. I'm not going to worry about if people are saying I should or shouldn't be an all-star and whatever else. I'm just going to go out there and play and be the best player that I know how to be. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing not just Larry Markkinen be as successful as he has been, but also the Utah Jazz in a season where they could easily just go ahead and dip into the, Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, but decided to be competitive instead.
Great stuff as always from Deshaun Tate. Deshaun, we won't keep you too long because we know you got some things to get into that might be a little bit more important than all of this other stuff. So we'll let you go here in a second, but tell the people where they can find you on socials and where they can get all of your great work.
All right, no doubt, appreciate it. At Take Hoops, TATEKEHOOPS. Take Hoops like it sounds. Anywhere you find your favorite podcast. We always tell people, tell your mama, tell your grandmama, tell your baby mama where you can find it. Anywhere you find your favorite pod, it is the most entertaining, the most informational, and the most educational basketball content on the planet in the form of a podcast. And for those diehard Atlanta Hawks fans, very first year under the Odyssey umbrella for our podcast, me and my co-host Caleb Johnson. It is the best if you're a diehard Atlanta Hawks fan and like to keep up with everything the Hawks and some stuff going on throughout the league. It's called Nothing But Nest, like Bird's Nest, N-E-S-T. And I think you'll enjoy it. Another episode of Tate's Take coming out later on this evening. So looking forward to kicking that off 2023. Awesome. Happy New Year to you guys with a bang.
Awesome stuff. Looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Deshaun. And we will talk with you later on in the NBA season. You have yourself a wonderful day. But, guys, we're going to hop into a break. When we come back, we're going to preview the second hour and kind of look at the first hour. And we're going to move on with this great show. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121. Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to a TCU Tuesday. Yeah, we're going to keep at it all day. You guys got to remember what happened last night. I'm not going to let you forget it, all right? Especially if you rooted for TCU. Myself, okay? Bandi, who did you actually want to win?
I mean, I did want TCU to win, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's like part of me wanted to root for the SEC, but then it's like, well, Georgia's starting to become like LSU to me, like LSU and Tennessee to me.
Yeah, understandable.
It's like, do I want them to go back-to-back, or do I want Bama to do it first?
Yeah, well, it's one thing. You got to give them a little bit of, credit, because it was the last time they could have done that in that current championship format that they had going on, or the playoff format that they had going on, because now we're moving into the 12 teams in the playoff, and it's going to be a lot more difficult. But either way, that's not what we're going to be talking about when we close out this segment, because I wanted to kind of look at the whole Lovie Smith firing that happened with the Texans the other day. And it's one of those things where you look at it and you think to yourself, well, he won that game. It was a very good win against a bad team. And then you think, why did he win that game? Now it gives the Bears their first pick. They get the first pick now. So the Texans now had this first pick throughout the entire season until this last game when they decided to give it to him. And there's a bunch of people that are saying certain things. I know a lot of it is people want to say that, oh, well, it's another black coach that's getting fired for, race reasons. And I'm not going to say that that's the whole case. I don't think that's the case, but I can't say that it's not the case. But at the end of the day, with the Bears getting that first pick, it's not going to change anything, okay? The GM for the Bears is not going to draft the quarterback. They are going to side with Fields. They're not going to move on from him, okay? He wanted to quiet everybody down. He was like, no, this is what we're going to happen, okay? I'm going to blow this stuff away. We're going with Justin Fields for the rest of his time when he's actually good. He has been decent, all right? It's the whole team around Justin Fields that's not looking good, all right? So now I'm thinking, well, why did the Texans fire Lovie Smith? There's so many reasons you can look at it. Obviously, they won only 3 games, so that's a reason why. So you can say, oh, well, it's not a race because he won 3 games, all right? He literally won 3 games, and multiple games right there weren't against good teams at all. One of them was against the Colts, and that was their best game they probably played. They looked so much more inspired at that game, and it had to be the last game of the season.
It had to be.
It had to be. I just don't know. They could have kept him for at least one more year to see how he could build this roster, because this is what he needed. He needed to find that quarterback and move forward. I think he would have done a great job if he had that quarterback that he needed, which not him, but the Texans are going to get in this upcoming draft. But they can't do it with Lovie Smith now.
Nope.
And now it's got to be a race thing. Could be a trend going on. I don't know. There is a trend going on. Who says? Either way, when we come back, it'll be the second hour of action here in No Man's Land. We'll be talking about a lot of fun stuff, starting with the cool segment. We'll be looking at the playoff picture, as well as a little bit more of the details that go into the TCU blowout. And then we'll hop into the Bandi Man's E-Play-by-Play, and that should be a lot of fun to find out all the new gaming stuff to come. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This hour of The Blitz is brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Online at FlemingHSV.com. Welcome to the evolution of sports radio.
You see, in this industry, just like in life, everything evolves.
Call 256-576-4977 to make your audible for The Blitz.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's the Afternoon Blitz. Here are your hosts, Captain Cool and the Bandi Man.
You wouldn't believe me. My computer is frozen right now. All right? Don't worry about that, though.
Your computer's frozen?
Yeah, it's frozen. Yeah! Either way, welcome back, everybody, into the Afternoon Blitz here on a TCU Tuesday. We're going to keep it up for as long as we live. I think, Mike, no, computer's still doing some stuff. It is looking weird. It is the power of a Mac right there. Either way, I'm your host. Captain Cool, alongside the Bandi Man, Bailey Lowry, and we're starting off this second hour with a bang. I will say that, okay? I come back from the bathroom. I see that my computer is just sitting here. I'm, scrolling on the wheel. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Either way, you guys need to know that the rest of the show is wide open for you to hop into. 256-576-4977 is the number to call, and you can find us on Twitter at @theblitz_sports, as well as Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV for more than just sports talk. Now, before I get into the cool segment, I will also tell you that this second hour is presented by Woody Anderson Ford, the best place to get the best vehicles for the best price. What are you talking about? Exactly. This is what I'm saying right here. First off, Ford is amazing, all right? They have amazing cars. I'm not a Ford fanboy, okay? But I will say that they have some amazing cars. I myself drive a Ford Mustang. My mom drives a Ford Mustang, brand new, beautiful Ford Mustang. My dad, he drives an F-150. Very nice truck, I will say. And there's a plethora of nice vehicles for you guys to hop into, as well as used ones. Make sure you guys check out WoodyAndersonFord.com, and Bobby White and his whole crew will take care of you guys. So make sure you do that for me, okay? For me. Because it's a healthy suggestion to you. Now, again, before we get into this cool segment, I will say it has been a great show as of so far. Deshaun Tate hopped on with us with Tate's Talks or Tate's Takes. That's
Tate's
what messes me up.
Tate's Take Hoops.
That's what messed me up, okay? I was saying this. I was saying Tate's Talks, and I was accidentally missing that it's Tate's Takes. I know exactly what his show is called. I've listened to it numerous times, but Tate's Takes... Tate's Takes.
Tate's Take.
Oh my gosh, it's tough.
It's a single take.
It is.
Tate's Take Hoops.
Tate's Take. Okay, it's just one take. Tate's Take. That's what it is. Make sure you guys check that out as well. Anywhere you find your podcasts. But we got a little bit to get into, okay? Playoff coming up right around the corner, starting this weekend. And there's a lot of teams that probably shouldn't be in there and a lot of teams that should definitely be in there, okay? We also had TCU getting absolutely demolished by Georgia. We've already talked about that extensively. And every other show that came before us today and every other show that comes after us, we'll talk about it as well. I know one show in particular, The Drive over on our sister station, will definitely be talking about it. But then, we got a little bit of a game ourselves, Bandi. That's all coming up here on What's Cool.
It's getting hot in here.
My computer's still frozen. That's a broken computer.
So it's time to cool down with Captain Cool.
You know what cool is?
What?
You're looking at it.
Okay. I'm gonna figure it out, alright? I just had to reset it. That's what's gonna have to happen.
You just had to restart it?
That's what's gonna have to happen. That's exactly what happened on my computer. Alright, well, that throws me off of my game, but who cares? I'm still gonna get through it all for you guys because that's just what we gotta do. The first thing that is cool today, okay, Bandi, we got a game of Buckhorn. They're going up against the Lee High School, and it's going to be a great showdown. You can catch that on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, our sister station, where we'll do just the best coverage we can about that amazing team right there. They're really pushing. They're having a hell of a season so far, and they're going to be going up against a would-be team that, I mean, I want competition. That's what I want. All right, we saw back in the Huntsville Classic, I will say this, they lost the first game. They lost the first game to the team that ended up winning it all, okay, in the Sparkman Senators, which my brother did actually go to, okay? He did go to that school a long time ago. And I'm very much looking forward to it, Bandi. I know you are as well. Tell me, what are you predicting tonight?
I mean, I'm obviously predicting a Buckhorn win.
Of course.
And I expect another game out of Caleb Holt and T-Rob as well. I mean, I almost combined it.
Yeah?
I was thinking like Terrence Robinson and then T-Rob at the same time, and then I said T. Robinson.
T. Robinson.
But you know what I mean? Like, again, going to be battling on the boards tonight. I expect Buckhorn to go out, play their usual game plan, play how they did like in the Huntsville Classic, and get a win here tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I mean, that team just is stacked. They have such depth, and we've seen it time and time again in games where, you know, we don't think they're going to whip out, you know, the second string, the third strings, and stuff like that. And I know that's not even really in basketball. It's really just the starting lines and then the second lines and all that, whatnot. But, I mean, we've seen it. This team has whipped out a lot of players, and, I mean, all of them are really good. And we haven't even named some of them, and you guys can come and listen to us later on at 7 o'clock when the ball is tipped off. That's when it's all going down at Buckhorn, and it's going to be a very exciting one. Bandi, my computer is back up and running.
Let's go.
I did a whole reset, and it is looking good. But the first thing I want to get into real quick is the interesting things that came out of last night's national championship game. Now, you could say, you know, it was a little less of a game and more of just Georgia showing off all of their good toys right there. Because, holy crap, Stetson Bennett was running the ball nonstop, looked amazing doing it, looked like he was in the backyard of just normal suburb, all right? Just running behind, running past players. All of the TCU defenders couldn't do anything about it. And that was going without saying. The running game was also just spectacular as it was, okay? Because it was amazing, all right? And then just TCU on offense. Just let's look at that real quick. This is just the basic stuff before we get into the nitty-gritty, but TCU's offense literally had no chance of doing anything. You would think that they would have some sort of game plan, but it looks like they didn't even look at what Georgia could do on that field, okay? Because it got ugly quick. Now, we did talk about this yesterday, all right? TCU, the last time they were even close to a national championship was way back in the 30s, all right? 1938. Now, obviously there wasn't really a national championship game at that time, but there was...
It was close enough.
It was close enough. There was the AP, and also there was championship games that were like kind of, championship games. But, I mean, their game was in the Southwest Conference, okay? And they won in the Sugar Bowl, okay? They won in the Sugar Bowl against... What is it? Carnegie Tech? Carnegie Tech? Is that the name? 15-7? This is football back then, okay? And, yeah. I mean, they were able to get the number 1 overall selection in the NFL draft back in 1939. I mean, this was a long time ago. They came into this championship thinking that it was still in 1938, like they could just play their bare minimum and get the dub, but they didn't even have a freaking plan for what Stetson Bennett was going to do, okay? And then this team just went off. Obviously, it turned into the biggest deficit of all the championship history, and Georgia scored over 60 points for the first time this season. They made TCU look like a small school that they were paying to be played against. That's one thing. That's gross. Either way, I'm done talking about that stuff for now. For now. We'll definitely get into more of that a little bit on. I do want to hop into some of the playoffs. Okay, playoffs. That's right, playoffs. First off, I want to count down the teams, the 14 teams that are in the playoffs. Okay, I want to see what teams are going to be going up against, what teams are going to be the underdogs, the biggest underdogs, and all that whatnot. The Dolphins would not be 14th if they had Tua Tagovailoa, all right? They just have been a slim squad without him, all right? They have Tyreek Hill. He does a great job catching balls, running fast, throwing up peace signs and all whatnot. But they don't have Tua right now, and I don't think they're going to in their first playoff matchup. What are they going to do? Well, they might lose, but they are sitting at 14th on the list when it comes to the playoff teams. Number 13 is the Seahawks. Seahawks, yes. 9-8 with Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, the rest of the squad.
So what? I mean, they sound like a pretty good squad. Then
They're great.
Why are we sitting at number 13?
They're great because there's a bunch of great teams ahead of them, plus the very hot Jacksonville Jaguars who are sitting at 12. But I want to look more on these Seahawks. I'll say this, okay? From the beginning of the season, the first game of the year was against the Broncos. Remember way back when we thought the Broncos were about to be a spectacular team, but then we thought the Seahawks would be a little bit better?
Oh, how naive we were.
These defenses looked really good. We got a little Geno Smith action. Geno Smith went on to be one of the all-time greats for Seattle, something we didn't think would happen ever. And, I mean, look at them now. They're sitting pretty, 13th place. They're going up against the 49ers. We get a nice little rivalry game right off the bat. And we'll talk a little bit on that in a sec. But then the Jaguars are sitting at 12. I don't think the Jaguars are going far in these playoffs. I'm going to be honest with you. Trevor Lawrence doesn't know what this playoff is, all right? He doesn't know anything. Last time they were able to get into the playoffs, it was a freak accident, which they went far, and then they didn't go far enough. That was when they had Blake Bortles, and it was just, he retired.
Oh, the Bortles saga.
Yeah, that was a very quick saga.
It was more of an arc, really.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. The Blake Bortles arc?
It's like 3 seasons, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure the Demon King Piccolo saga came before it.
Demon King Piccolo. That was a good voice.
Yeah, it was that, then the Bortles saga, then the Bortles arc, and then I think we moved on. Now we're into the Trevor Lawrence arc.
Yeah, the Trevor Lawrence arc.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to go on for a while.
I like the David Garrard arc. Remember that? Remember that arc? It was a long time ago. Either way, the Jaguars are looking to be pretty, good going in, but at the same time, they're going to have a tough little challenge, and I just don't see them going too far. Then number 11, the New York Giants. Yes, the Giants are still in the playoffs. You'd think, being a Giants fan and having the luck of the Giant, they would probably find some way to lose their clinched spot in the playoffs, but they are in. Do they go far? I don't think so. I think that the Seahawks might have a chance to go farther. I also think that the Dolphins might have a chance to go farther, even though they don't have their first string or even possibly their second string quarterback. The Jaguars, they got a chance. But the Giants, I don't know if I really believe in the hype about them, okay? Another team I don't believe in the hype about, the Chargers. That is the number 10 team. That's fitting. Justin Herbert, number 10. Either way, I just don't see him going far. Number 9, the Cowboys. It's the playoffs. Bandi, you know a little thing about the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Yeah, but I'm also looking at who they're playing first.
Yeah.
And I don't know, would I have I'm trying to think personal now. Would I have the Buccaneers over the Cowboys?
It's playoff Tom Brady.
It is playoff Tom Brady.
Might be his last year. The man might be out for vengeance.
But and I do not trust Dak Prescott either. I was like, do you trust Tom Brady? And I'm like, but I don't trust Dak Prescott either. He's been playing a little bad lately.
Yeah. It's only in favor of the Cowboys. 3 points in favor of the Cowboys.
And we are nearing the end of the Cowboy cycle.
Yeah, exactly. They should be out by not this week, but next week probably. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's gonna be.
I'll be wanting to see. It's making me think about it. So I'm cool with their place right now.
We think about it and we're like, oh, the Cowboys are gonna easily steamroll these Buccaneers. I mean, they should have been out beforehand because they were following the same trend as the Packers. Too bad.
Yeah, and it's like, well, Dak Prescott's been throwing interceptions lately.
Yeah. But again, this team had less than 500% win rate on the season. So what is going to happen in this game? Which Tom Brady are we going to see? Are we going to see Tom Brady to Mike Evans connection nonstop? Are we going to see Leonard Fournette doing things good? Or are we going to see Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, the rest of the crew doing amazing Cowboy stuff first week into the playoffs, and then next week they're just going to do the opposite of that? When are the Cowboys going to have that dip? You thought they had it the other week as they lost to the Washington Commanders. But who knows? They might just have gotten past that Cowboys dip. They might have gotten that loss out of the way. Now they're in the playoffs. Now they got to win. But now Tom Brady also has to finish off his season, possibly his career, on a high note. So how's he going to do it? He's going to play off his rocker, all right? But keeping on this list right now, we're going down to number 8, and that's the Vikings. Do you have any faith in this Vikings team?
Not right now.
I don't know if I do, but they're going up against the Giants. I think they're going to easily defend a win against the Giants, okay? It's at the Vikings' home. So I think the Vikings are going to be able to take care of them right off the bat. And we're only going to be focusing on this week 1 into the playoffs, okay? This wild card era, all right? I think the Vikings are going to be fine against this Giants team because I just don't believe the Giants are going to, do what they need to do. I think Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, Justin Jefferson's going to be off his rocker. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to throw 3 touchdowns, have 278 yards. I called it right now.
All right.
I'm a guru. And I think the Giants will have to rely heavily on Saquon Barkley, who is not going to do enough to win this game. Moving on, the Buccaneers. How are the Buccaneers sitting at 7? I just don't get it. Buccaneers, I forgot that they're on this list. They shouldn't have even been on this list. I know that it's all the playoff teams ranked, but still. 8-9 Buccaneers. I know, it's playoff time. Again, you know what? Believe it if you want. Believe the hype, Tampa. You're back in the playoffs. But this year, you're looking a little bit different because that 9 after that 8 does not look good. I mean, you got here for a reason, but at the same time, you probably shouldn't be here. So it just takes one little mishap, and I think the Buccaneers are going to be out. I don't believe the Buccaneers are going to be that Cowboys team, though. Number 6, the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are going to go anywhere. All right.
I don't think so either. And they're playing Cincinnati.
Yeah. I think that possibly, if it's even happening, Lamar Jackson, if he does start, they have a possibility. Guy hasn't played in a month.
As having him on my fantasy team, I know that.
Exactly.
He hasn't played in over 2 months.
And, I mean, we saw the headlines about Roquan Smith getting the huge contract. Really cool, really awesome. He's going to take you to a Super Bowl. He's not going to lead your team to the Super Bowl. That's for sure. And Lamar Jackson being questionable, possibly playing, which I don't even know if that's true. I just don't see it happening. Let me see real quick where Lamar Jackson's at in this whole thing. Oh. I clicked on the Lamar Jackson on this thing, and it took me to Lamar Jackson on the Broncos, the cornerback.
Oh, no.
That's funny. I'll never know, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely the one you were talking about.
It is not, okay? But if they have Lamar Jackson, I think the Ravens will be sitting pretty sturdy. I believe their game against who are they going up against even in the playoffs? Their first game in the playoffs.
The Ravens?
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
They're playing Cincinnati in the playoffs?
Yeah.
First game?
In the wild card, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not going to win. I think with or without, I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, they're not. They're not going to win.
That's gross. The Eagles.
That was blunt. Wow.
Number 5. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you could say a few things. I mean, I think Jalen Hurts is going to be pretty good going out of the bye. I think he's going to be pretty solid. We don't know who he's going to be playing as of yet. But I think he's going to be having a great time. And I think the Eagles are going to continue on their great winning ways, even though, they started getting a little bit bad at the end of the game. I think a little bit of rest for the team, and I think a little bit of time for Jalen Hurts will give him the time that he needs to be back on top of his game. Because then we go over to the Bengals, who are sitting at number 4, okay, with just spectacular MVP candidate Joe Burrow under center. Now, they have been pretty solid as of late. They started off the season, a little iffy, a little back and forth. That's what they do. Doesn't matter because they're sitting right here in the playoff spot looking pretty amazing, okay? But I don't think they'll be able to go all the way. I think they'll hit a road walk or a road wall and they'll just be stopped. And whether it'll be the Chiefs, I don't know. Who knows? It could be the Bills. Somebody's going to stop them. But then the 49ers are sitting at number 3. Brock Purdy's going to take them all the way. I think this team's going to the Super Bowl.
It's crazy how good this team has actually looked with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, they haven't looked better.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me. It's like, okay, he had a good first game.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes from here. This might have been a fluke. Has a good second game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what? Two in a row? Pretty good. I bet he doesn't get a third. He did a third.
He did. This guy's consistent.
He kept going.
He's consistently amazing. This 49ers team is on a roll as of late, okay? They're spectacular, and they're going to do some great stuff in the playoffs as well. I mean, with Deebo Samuel, you get Christian McCaffrey, you get George Kittle, you get Nick Bosa. What's not on this team? What is not on this team? And Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, is doing the things he needs to do to lead this team where they need to be, and that's to the end zone. So, I see a lot of good things out of this team. I want to see the 49ers win, if not the Bills, because the Bills are sitting at number 2. 13-3 on the season, okay? The only team they really have to fight against, pretty much the Super Bowl for them will be beating the Chiefs, because that's just tough. Beating the Bengals, that'll be tough too. I know that Josh Allen's had some struggles against this Bengals team, but it doesn't matter because Joe Burrow's had his struggles against his Bills team. And I wish they got to finish this game, but they didn't. But either way, it should be a good one. I'll say that. Should be a good one for the Bills. I think they're going to go pretty far. Okay. And then the Chiefs are sitting at number 1, the number 1 spot, 14-3. Get it? Because they got that one extra game that the Bills couldn't finish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs are they're constantly doing this. I mean, if you've got Patrick Mahomes on your team and it's similar to the 49ers on the opposite side of the league, where this team's just stacked, just constantly. And I know at the beginning of the season they needed to kind of get some stuff under control. But you got Travis Kelce. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Juju. You got the squad on your team. I mean, you guys be dancing probably in the locker room. These guys are having a fun time.
Yeah, you're relaxing as a Kansas City fan.
If you're a Kansas City fan, the only challenge you got is the AFC Championship, and then the Super Bowl is to come. You're probably going to the Super Bowl yet again, okay? If you're a fan of the Chiefs, 256-576-4977, you can state your claim for this team right now. And if you're a fan of the worst team going into the playoffs, which is the Dolphins, as of right now, we don't know when Tua is going to be back. 256-576-4977. State your claim why your team's going far, okay? In the playoffs. There's a lot. There's a lot to talk about, though, with all of this. And I want to get more into the bracket side of things. I want to try and guess all of it. But we can't do it right now because we're already running low on time because we were already doing that list that should have been on Friday, but it doesn't really matter because we have fun with it anyway.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of matchups to watch out for. LA going up against Jacksonville, Baltimore going up against Cincinnati, Miami, Buffalo, and then on the NFC side, we got Dallas, Tampa Bay, the New York Giants against Minnesota, and then the Seattle Seahawks against the San Francisco 49ers, as well as the two teams with the bye, which is Kansas City and the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, we're looking forward to it. We'll go over a little bit more in depth tomorrow, and we'll get RJ White on with sportsline.com to talk and help us out with our predictions. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, the Bandi Man's got the play-by-play for you guys. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online at advancedlifeclinic.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Afternoon Blitz here on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Network. I'm your host, the Bandi Man, Bailey Lowry, joined across the glass, across the aisle, by my co-host,
Hey.
Captain Cool John Abraham.
Hi, guys.
You know, we got some good gaming news to talk about. We've run through a lot of sports, had a great talk with Deshaun Tate in the first hour with Tate's Take Hoops. I can finally say that consistently.
Tate's Take Hoops. Good stuff. Yeah, we got it. We got it under tap.
Talk about the NBA, and not to also forget that this second hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, where you can find where it's the best place
to get the best cars
for the best prices.
Heck yeah. Never scripted right there, but you guys can go on down to Woody Anderson Ford, check out their area, look at their service lanes, because holy crap, let me tell you, it's probably the coolest place they've got. They've got their offices literally in the middle of the service lanes. You pull your car up right there, you look to your right, you'll see Susan or whatever. Then you'll see Bobby White, and he will take care of you guys. They have a plethora of beautiful vehicles, from the Ford Bronco to the Mustang to a whole bunch of trucks. That's Woody Anderson Ford. Check them out online and find your perfect vehicle today.
Do it.
Do it.
And while you're there and while you're listening to us on the way back in your new Woody Anderson Ford, we got good gaming news to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
The revival of an old franchise.
Ooh.
In the shooter category.
Oh.
I'm very excited for. Apex Legends has finally dropped their update, and yeah, it has been confirmed you do need a 30 minimum player count for private matches.
Ooh.
And the League of Legends patch and Valorant patch dropped today.
Sweet.
And guess what? Chamber is finally not being picked anymore. That's all coming up here on the E Play-by-Play.
Time to catch up on esports with Play-by-Play with the Bandi Man.
All right, so first off, Xbox is holding pretty much like a Nintendo Direct-like event on January 25th, but where they're just going to show off like a bunch of new franchises, like a bunch of new projects they're working on, and ones that have, already been announced, like giving more gameplay and showcase into those projects. And they actually dropped a couple trailers yesterday.
Oh.
For some of those that might be getting shown off, including a trailer for The Outer Worlds 2, which if you never got a chance to play The Outer Worlds, it actually won Game of the Year, so why have you not played it yet? It's a great open world game.
Oops.
One of the ones to pass, and I believe, it's been on Game Pass for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, give it a shot. Won Game of the Year, I believe, in 2020, and it was one of those games during the COVID time that helped me pass the time a lot faster.
Good deal.
And Starfield got its cover leaked, pretty much just its logo. It looks good, though. But I like how the cover for the leak, though, says not on PlayStation.
Just not. Just, hey, PlayStation users, you don't got this? Get an Xbox just in case, because when it comes, you guys will be playing it.
We also got a new trailer, the official reveal trailer for Judas, the next project from the creator of BioShock that's going to be set in like another underwater kind of setting, and just from the look of the reveal trailer, it's already got that creepy atmosphere down. Like, it looks really good. The art style, I like it in that it doesn't look like very realistic,
Yeah, it's a little bit like Atomic Heart in the way that it's realistic, but in a cartoony way where it's just kind of not ultra realistic. So it's a good little vibe. You can do a lot of things similar to BioShock.
Yeah, like really like how an updated BioShock-like game would look.
Yeah, which we might get on BioShock in the future. So think about that.
You never know. And we also got the revival. We're getting another 007 game.
Really?
Project 007. The date is to be decided, but it's going to be dropping day one on Xbox Series X. And the teaser trailer for it is just the iconic like bullet getting loaded into the chamber, and then it cuts around to the iconic camera shot from the inside of a gun barrel with the 007 theme playing in the back. So I'm more than excited. This could either be a teaser. They might be remaking GoldenEye again.
I don't know if that's what they want to do, but I mean, if they did anything, either way, I mean, there's so much to go off of. We haven't seen 007 video games really in a long time. We did get that remake for GoldenEye. It was fine, it's whatever.
Yeah,
but
like
nothing.
like on the Wii.
Yeah, nothing beats like the classics. But I mean, we need more, games with the James.
With the James Bond, because the last one I remember seeing was like all those movie tie-in ones, like with what was it, Quantum Royale or something, or
what is it? Casino Royale.
Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And then Quantum Solace. Yeah.
Yeah, you get them. You put them together. You put them
Quantum Royale.
It'd be a beautiful movie.
Oh my gosh, I need to see those movies again. They were good.
I know. I loved Casino Royale. I thought it was a great one. And then what was the one that came out a few years ago? I get it mixed up with a video game name, but whenever he was like alone in a house and he had to get it like all ready for the people that were coming to kill him or something like that. And it was a good movie. I think all of them are really good movies.
I need to scoot my chair up. What in the world?
Come on,
There we go.
Get that adjusted.
There we go.
There's a grenade in there, by the way.
There's a grenade in here?
Yeah. I can say that in my workplace. If everybody knows that we're on the same level, you guys know that we're all joking about that stuff because it is pretty funny.
Now, data miners have found game files within Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
That reference gunfight and gun game.
Finally.
Leading players to believe that the 2 fan-favorite multiplayer modes will be added with Season 2.
Sweet.
Good. Why has it become the trend to start removing fan-favorite modes just to add them in later?
I don't know. It's the same with Halo. They did the exact same thing with a lot of their game modes, and now they're finally bringing them back. Griffball's not even in the game yet, officially. And Griffball has been a fan favorite for the longest time.
Now, I did see zombies maps from Call of Duty are actually starting to be made in Forge mode.
Oh.
So I actually might reinstall Halo Infinite.
Really cool. No, definitely right now, if you're like a Halo fan or you even love just first-person shooters, the way that they have Forge has just opened the game up so much to be amazing. I mean, Griffball is in the game if you go into Forge. It's on a football field, and it is super cool, as well as just a lot of Mario Kart tracks are actually being implemented into the game.
Mario Kart tracks?
Exactly. Like the Bowser's Dungeon or Bowser's Castle, where you can literally just drive through it on a Warthog, and it literally is to a T, and it looks perfect. And I think Rainbow Road is on there, too. It's got to be.
Awesome.
It's got to be.
Oh, that's awesome. But, yeah, I mean, to add in gunfight again, do it.
Do it.
Like the 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 modes, like, since all that started with Modern Warfare 3, top 3 Call of Duty of all time.
Yeah.
It's become a fan favorite mode because it started as face off with like very small maps.
Yeah.
And then it later evolved into gunfight.
Yeah.
And it just gave players a new way to play the game, and maybe like they just want to squad up with like 1 or 2 of their buddies and hop into just small maps, small team based modes. And just have at it.
For sure. It's team-oriented fun, and it's like you don't need a bunch of people that are yelling in your ear all the time. It's just like to the left. Or you can play it all on your own. And that was, it was a total mainstay of the original Modern Warfare. Well, not the original, but Modern Warfare 2019. When it came out, that was the first mode you could play while the game was downloaded, was Gunfight. And it was amazing.
And I'll give it to it. Remember how, like, back in the older Call of Duties where if there was just like a player that you hated playing against, or you were just absolute trash talking on the other team, you're like, all right, then invite me 1v1 Rust, like 1v1 me right now.
Exactly.
Like all of those, especially on Rust, was the absolute like battleground for it.
Yeah, 1v1 me, bro. That's where that all came from.
But now you have a mode where if you just want to do those 1v1s and you want to go in Super Sweat, which Super Sweat mode is the 1v1s. People go absolutely in on the 1v1 mode. But it's an option for you. If you like that kind of play and you're that kind of player and you just want to absolutely dominate, just don't rely on anybody else but yourself.
Yeah.
You have that 1v1 mode. So I think it should just be like gunfight and gun game should just be 2 of those absolutely permanent modes.
Exactly. And if you haven't experienced 1v1 gunfight yet,
oh, it's
holy
crazy.
Crap. I showed Bandi a video, one of my first gameplay videos that I did on the Pinky Out Gang channel, and it just shows the intensity of it. I was down like at 2 to 6 or 2 to 5 because the 6th one is whenever you win. And I was able to come back a lot of those times. Sometimes I lost. Most of the time I won. And let me tell you, I was on the edge of my seat every single time.
Now here's what I'm excited for.
No?
League of Legends Season 13 has officially begun. Ranked update happens today.
Nice.
Patch 13.1 is out today. Jax's mid-scope rework is out today. And a lot of champions have been nerfed, and a lot have been buffed, and a lot of item buffs as well. But on the nerf side, if you main any of these champions, I'm sorry, but they have been nerfed.
Boom.
Aatrox, Dr. Mundo, Fiora, and Cassante. I want to talk about these 4 specifically because these guys are all top laners. Maybe Mundo, a little bit more of a jungler. I don't know really how he plays now. I think he's more of a top laner. Either way, these guys were dominant up top. I mean, Cassante was that one where I talked about, I believe, yesterday, where you can kind of, you just build straight tank, and then you pop your ultimate, and now you don't have that tankiness anymore, just a lot more damage. But even then, because you built tank items, you still have tankiness on you. It's kind of weird. But pretty, little overtuned, needed to be stepped back a little bit. Fiora, I am tired of this champion. She's a duelist. That's what her whole kit is based around. And if you try to pull her, stun her, knock her up, which that sounds...
Don't knock her up, please.
That sounds very weird out of context. But there's something called knockups in the game, which, you know, they obviously knock up the champion.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Pretty much
in the air.
Like stun / knock him up. You know what he's saying.
Yes, but it sounds very bad out of context. But you can't do any of that to her because she has a move where if she just presses one button, she doesn't get hit by it, she doesn't get CC'd by it, and then does a little riposte, like a parry.
Buddy.
If you get hit by that, you die.
Just instant death?
No, it's not instant death
Okay.
because you get stunned, you lose your crowd control that you need to save for her anyway, and now she's doing her full combo on you, which is now critting profusely.
Can't knock her up.
I am tired of this champion. I'm glad she's getting hard nerfed. Get her out of here.
Get her out of here.
Dr. Mundo, he's just a big lug. I love this champion. Like, he's just Mundo goes where he pleases. Like, just kind of like this big hulking idiot of a character, which it's fine. It's endearing.
I feel like every single... have you watched Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Oh, yeah.
It's always the big purple guy, you know? That's always the dumb dude, but, you know, he does a lot of damage. He can really just throw you around, okay?
Eduardo was awesome. Like, he was a big scaredy cat, but yeah, nah, he was like, you don't mess with him. He fought for his friends.
Exactly.
But yeah, but Mundo, just a little bit too tanky. I know it's his job as a tank, but he's doing his job a little too well with his kit. And then Aatrox was like the prime bruiser next to Fiora. Needed to get knocked down a little bit. And then Yuumi and Zeri also got nerfs. Yuumi, just get this character out of here. Like, just autopilot the character. Just you hook onto another teammate, and then you become untargetable. You can heal them. You can poke other champions. It's a little wild. It's just kind of that one you hand to your friend who's never played League of Legends before and like, here, play this and have fun. You don't have to do very much. And then Zeri. You should not have come out when you did. You needed like another month of polish with your kit because what happened, they rushed her out with a dual release with Valorant because they released like another very similar.
You got it. Similarly, yeah. Design
agent for Valorant. They released them at the same time, maybe like, hey, this will get Valorant players on League and vice versa. Didn't really work out. Neon and Valorant was very good. Zeri was just completely, her kit was just absolutely toxic to the core. Way too much mobility to the point where you can never catch her. She's always just going to be able to outkite you, outspeed you, just run circles around you like the Scout in TF2. They created a balancing nightmare with her because you have this kit. So how do we balance a kit that is by itself incredibly unfun to play against as well as little to no counterplay? You scale down her numbers. How many times have they scaled down her numbers? They've pretty much nerfed her like, I believe, 7 out of the last 9 patches in a row. That's how much of a balancing problem they have with this champion. Like, she's not even sitting at a good win rate or pick rate, not being picked in pro play, and they're still nerfing her. It's bad. They got themselves into a corner, and I hope this kind of balancing doesn't make its way into the fighting game.
I do too.
But if you play these next couple champions, congrats, they got buffed.
Ta-dum.
Jace, Lissandra, Shaco, Scion, Twisted Fate, and Xayah. Shaco is just that annoying clown jester character that can go invisible and is an assassin. And I'm actually running out of breath here. Excuse me.
You good, Bandi? No, Shaco looks like Harley Quinn, but if it was Harley Quinn Joker.
I need to save some energy for tonight.
You do, yeah.
But Shaco, though. Assassin that can go invisible. Leaves behind traps that can actually fear you. And just overall can kind of get in and out while detecting relatively unseen, and his whole kit is designed around being annoying. I never like when these champions are good, and I'm sounding like a complainer right now, but I'd much rather live in a world where Shaco is bad instead of one where he is good.
It's true. It's true.
And then Jax and Rammus are getting adjusted. I need to see how... I mean, like, Jax has a whole new kit, pretty much.
Okay.
Not, like, entirely brand new, but they reworked his numbers on his leap and counter-strike, but they gave him a new ult. And that... Let's see... It has the same third hit passive as before. That scales with magic. New active. Jax swings his lantern around him, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies. If he hits a champion, he gains armor plus bonus attack damage per champion hit, as well as 60% of that value as magic resist for the next 8 seconds. During this time, the passive damage applies every second attack instead of every third. Ooh, okay. So it made his ultimate a little more active. I like it, because in the past, it was just you popped his ult, you get tankier. That was all you got. But now it seems like he actually gets a little bit of a hitbox. He could actually like dive into the middle of a group of enemies, pop his ult, get all of that armor, plus all the bonus attack damage, and the magic resist. And then now his passive on his ultimate is now proccing every second hit instead of every third. So now he's going to be doing even more damage.
Nice.
So you know what? I'm cool with this update. That's a good way to kind of update Jax a little bit without giving him a full-on rework.
Yeah.
Now, Valorant. Thank God, Chamber is finally nerfed.
Woo!
Again. But this time they actually matter. Because he is not being picked anymore. They made it so that his Q, which is he pulls out his sidearm, which is one of his abilities.
Yeah.
Updated his stability curve. Cool. A little bit of a nerf. His rendezvous, though. This was the big one. This is what allowed him to teleport within like certain distance of his markers. They removed one of them. And you would think, okay, that doesn't really seem like that big of a nerf, right? This is probably the biggest nerf they could have given to him, honestly. Is that now only having one anchor, he can only teleport back to one spot, as opposed to 2 before. Which he would usually set up like maybe like one around like spawn or like in between both sites, and then he would have another anchor set up where he was actively peeking. That's where that like you would peek out with an op, and then you would quickly teleport back to stay like pretty much as safe as a normal jet would, which you're not really supposed to be having that kind of ability as a sentinel, not as opposed to a duelist. But now he only places a single anchor, but at the same time there is no longer any kind of height restriction on it. So now you can actually teleport from more locations than before, but you only have one anchor to do it from. So now the choices come down to, do I want to use this anchor to actively peek, or do I want to try to set this anchor up as a rotating spot so I can get between both sites faster? You have to choose now instead of actually having both. And his trademark, which is his trap, actually got nerfed as well. Added a range restriction, so it's no longer global. It can be recalled mid-round, though. Does not require line of sight, which is good. That's a little bit of a buff. But there's a 30-second cooldown on the recall, so you can't place the trap down, move somewhere else, immediately recall it, and then put it down again. You got to wait 30 seconds after you call it back. That's a big nerf. The initial arm time has been increased from 2 to 4 seconds, so doubling the arm time, another huge nerf. But they did increase the health from 1 to 20, so it has more survivability. And his ultimate, relatively unchanged. He just pulls out like an op from his back pocket and says, like, you want to play? Let's play. And then like he proceeds to pop 3 of your teammates. But he won't be able to do that anymore because the fire rate has been significantly nerfed. It has been decreased by 57.5%.
That's a big change.
That's a big fire rate decrease. You're no longer going to be able to like really go in between targets like you would with a normal op. This is really going to be like, I'm pulling this out of my back pocket and I'm one-shotting one of your teammates. I don't care who it is, but someone's dying on the other end of this barrel. But then you now have that much longer in-between time to where those other teammates, if they see someone either get popped or you miss entirely, they now have that extra time to identify where you are and to then shoot back at you. So, again, this might actually just flat out bring Chamber out of the meta, and I'm cool with it. Get Chamber out. He's been in the meta for far too long. Really, since his release. And all it had to do, all it was just get rid of one of his anchors.
Jeez.
But a little bit of other news as we're wrapping up this segment. So, several Forza Horizon developers actually leave Playground Games and Xbox.
Wow.
To form a brand new studio of their own. They have now formed Maverick Games, and it's being headed by former Forza Horizon 5 creative director Mike Brown. And it's going to develop on, quote, premium open world game for consoles and PCs, and has already secured, quote, significant seed funding.
Really? Okay.
All right, so this will be interesting. I like it because, like, I mean, again, like the Forza Horizon games have already, like, you're talking about one of the most consistent, I would say, consistent franchises out there.
Very good games.
It's really, you really can't go wrong with any of the Forza games, I believe.
No.
So, I mean, so hearing that a lot of these guys are heading out, they're going to, they're going to pursue their own endeavors. They've got their own creative thoughts in mind. They're going to form their own studio, and they're already getting good funding for it. I mean, that's good to see.
Yeah.
I want to see more people branch out and do their own thing.
Yeah, they could have chose a different name, though. It sounds like something that Logan Paul would probably be a part of. Maverick Games, whenever he had that whole Maverick thing. Be a Maverick.
Be a Maverick.
I'm curious to see what they make, though, in the future, if it's going to be either a racing game or just something totally outside of the realm of racing, and just an open-world game that everybody can really enjoy.
Maybe like a Top Gun Maverick tie-in.
Well,
actually, you know how cool a Top Gun Maverick game would look if it had like flight simulator graphics?
Yeah, I mean, I think that looked pretty cool. I mean, that's I'm blanking on some of the names today, but there is the what's that one game where you fly around in a jet? They did have a Maverick.
Grand Theft Auto?
No, that one you can do a lot of other things. I forgot the name, but
hey, yo, bro, watch your jet.
Something Combat.
Oh. Crap, I know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Ace Combat.
Ace Combat.
Yeah,
yes.
Good games. Been around for a while. Like that. I mean, that's a really cool thing that they've done Maverick tie-ins, so it's like, Top Gun already dealing with that.
War Thunder?
War Thunder.
Hey,
that's old.
Yeah, I'll say like those military sim games where it's like you're driving around in a tank. It was like World of Tanks, War Thunder, all those kind of games. Like they're fun to play on the side because like they go really in depth.
They do. No, way too in depth, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know what? We gotta take a quick time out. When we come back, we're gonna wrap up the show, wrap up the second hour, and get ready for tip-off for Buckhorn versus Lee tonight. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Afternoon Blitz here on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Network. I'm the Bandi man, Bailey Lowry, joined across the glass by Captain Cool John Abraham.
Hey.
And you know what? We got to get into this story before we wrap up the show. I am talking incredibly fast. But did you see that clip of the Georgia players eating wings on the sideline during the game?
I got to say, those wings look pretty tasty, especially with that hearty victory that they got against TCU.
It did look pretty tasty, but again, just eating wings on the sideline.
The disrespect.
I mean, I'm glad we're going to a 12-team playoff at this point. Because we're not going to see stuff like this again, like these 12-ranked teams. Like, let me pull it up. Let me see if I can pull up ESPN real quick. Let me just go to the actual rankings.
Yeah, go to the rankings, and we'll kind of weed out who we think would probably make it to the national championship, but wouldn't in this 12-man playoff.
Okay, so if it was this year, we would have had USC playing Georgia in the first game.
Okay.
Georgia would have won. Florida State versus TCU.
TCU would have won that one. I would think that they would get through that one.
Utah, Michigan.
Michigan would probably take the dub in that one.
Tulane, Ohio State.
Ohio State for sure.
Washington and Alabama. And Tennessee, Penn State.
Tennessee would probably destroy Penn State.
But, I mean, you see out of those groups, I don't think in a 12-team playoff, if after that, like, TCU game.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say, what was it, like 2 and 11 would probably have to play, like, what, like the winner of 6 and 7 or 5 and 8 after that?
It'd go into some weird thing, but yeah, it'd probably be along the lines of it.
Yeah, God forbid TCU had to run to Alabama or Tennessee in that bracket.
I know, and that would weed out the bad. And you know what? If TCU was able to get through a team like Alabama or Tennessee, I mean, that would make up for a lot more. Instead, they get a win against Michigan, who might have not been on their full game. And you know what? They moved forward. Now you have to take into account beating multiple teams that will probably be on the top of their game going into that first playoff game, second playoff game. They're looking for a championship, okay? Michigan was looking for a championship. They weren't on their game. TCU, if they were in the right mindset, if they were in the national championship before, few years before, maybe they kind of got familiar with the layout, then they probably would have had a better time. But this right here, this is not the way to do it. The way that they did it last night was just like throwing a team into the frying pan.
Threw them into the wolves. But with that, that's the ending music. We got to wrap up the show. We want to thank y'all for joining us once again on another edition of the Afternoon Blitz. And be sure to join us tonight for Buckhorn versus Lee. Tip-off at 7:30. Don't miss it.
Let's go, baby. That was so hype. Good job. I'm proud of you.
We're wrapping up the show. Thank you again for joining us. 7:30 tip-off at Buckhorn. Going to be live on 97.7 ESPN, the Zone FM, and on the mobile app as well. Book the Blitz and 97.7 ESPN, the Zone, so don't miss it. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you again in 22 hours.
Wow.
Bye.